Greetings everyone, welcome back. I thought I'd take a moment while I'm sitting here to finish up a couple other things with this custom card that I made. I just want to add a couple little bits of color, or lack of color, or whatever you want to say, but I'm going to start off with the front of this, and I'm going to add some white paint. Because I want there to be a bit more contrast than just the green card. And I may have to go back over this again with my pen. It's good to be picky once in a while. Now, here's what I'm doing down here. Now, the ink that I use, it's affected by moisture, so I have to be sort of careful. Otherwise, you just end up with a bunch of gray, which is okay, but if that's not the effect that you want, then you don't want it. A little bit in here for the teeth. So I want them to stand out a little bit too. A little bit in the eyes here. Take care of this little reflection bubble. Again, this is where I make those faces to say, why did I choose so many petals? Although secretly I'm a very patient person. Which is why I will do this. This type of acrylic paint dries reasonably fast. But I think it does make a little bit of a difference with the look of the card overall. Now what's funny is, I think a lot of people when they get cards, especially the store-bought ones, they might flip it around, see if it's like made by a certain company or whatnot, and they'll put it in a drawer. But not many people keep them for very long. If you make a card by hand, well, chances are they might keep it for a month or two. And maybe, just maybe someday, you'll visit them at their home, where you'll see a picture in the background, you know, of the card, and you'll laugh, ha 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 ha. Yeah, some people like handmade things. I know I do. Oh, really? We're almost at 9 minutes? That's wild. These pedals take a long time. I just think it looks better anyway. Again, if you think so, let me know down in the comments. Of course, I don't get those bits and pieces of feedback until I'm done anyway. See if there's any other little leaves, or petals I should say, showing up. I think we've highlighted what we needed to highlight. So that's not so bad. I'll clean this very quickly. We'll let that sit there for a moment. cover on. Now, see what this looks like. A little bit of yellow tone. Which in some ways only makes sense. I mean, we're well aware that it's green paper. I hope that yellow is adequately yellow. Because as you know, I'm wearing yellow glasses for eye fatigue. I think that's wonderful. If I do say so myself. Now let's see if we can ruin this just a little bit. I have this silver Sharpie. Ooh, and you know what? What am I going to use as scrap paper? You know what? I'll just open up the card because if it bleeds through, it's going to wreck the picture on that side. So, maybe I should do that in pencil instead because I don't really want it to bleed through at all. You know what? Maybe we'll risk it. Let's see what happens. It's going kind of light. Because, you know, graphite is kind of silvery. Ooh. So far, so good. All right. I think the front of that looks pretty good. I like it. Do I want to take care of the inside as well? Oh, off we go. I think with this, I have a few less flower petals to deal with. So feel free to skip ahead if you like, because this is still going to take some time. I think the end video will be pretty cool, I'm thinking. Shake this up a little bit more. You don't always, at least I don't see them that often. I don't really see daisies that often. I see dandelions all over the place. And then, you try not to bother them too much because they're not up for a very long time. And bumblebees like dandelions, so you try to take care of the bees. I'm going to do something here. Just like that. So it's part of my mission statement of sorts to do things in real time as much as possible, because I want people to know that, well, it takes time to do stuff. And I'm fine if you want to fast forward through things and that sort of thing, but while I'm doing this, I can't fast forward it, so I want people to know it takes time to do stuff. Brush is getting dry at the same time as I'm putting paint on it. As I said, that acrylic paint dries really, really fast, but so as it moves up the bristles, it seems to be drying out just a little bit. Now you may have noticed that when I did the front image, I left the pupils and the eyes looking large because, remember, the Minion was trying to be cute. Well, with this one, the eyes are considerably smaller because they are scared. Do the teeth here. And just because it might be necessary, I'm going to put a little bit on the tongue here as well, because I'm going to use pink on that, but chances are it's not going to go very well. So, by adding white to it first, it'll allow it to still kind of look pink. I'm doing these runaway petals. Now with the Bumblebee Minion, I still haven't perfectly discovered in my mind yet how I want the stripes to be. I may come up with something relatively soon because I'm crafty. And artsy people like us, well, we have to figure stuff out sometimes on the fly. Or on the bee. Muah. This one isn't going to require nearly as much white paint. I'm going to go here, one in there, a little bit in the wings. Try to get the outside just a little bit. Do the same on the lower or back version. Outrageous. And that smoke from the little jetpack. Because I think it's funny. Just in case, although we don't want it to be a band-aid. I like that. We're going to quickly, but with accuracy, add some yellow for the tone of our minion face. We shall call this perhaps Springfield Yellow. I don't know. Interesting. Little yellow body as well. So one of the reasons why I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with the body of the bee is because bees are also yellow, but I wasn't sure if I was going to make yellow pants because I didn't want to look like I have a pantsless minion, although they have been known to be pantsless. I didn't know if I wanted to be the person to draw a pantsless one. As funny as that is. Who'd have thought that, somehow I'd be going through the joy of a nearly 2-hour custom card just for fun. But I do like it though, so I'm not disappointed with doing it. If I'm being honest, and as I said, the person that I'm going to give this to, they might get a kick out of it, and maybe they'd keep it for more than a month. Or they'd crumple it up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. When it's theirs, they can do whatever they want with it. Now, bees don't have this kind of stuff on their antennas. When they collect pollen, they usually kind of keep it on their legs. So, if I were extra crafty, which sometimes I am, I would have maybe used the silver marker again first, though. Not that this yellow paint could cover any sort of mistakes, but the benefit would be I could try. And it's not like I can't just open up the yellow paint again and do it. Sometimes it's nice to just take care of things when you can think of it. Speaking of taking care of things, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow there for the jetpack. I can add some red in there after. I'll let that thin out just a little bit so it can dry a little bit quicker. That way I can make my way back over to these goggles. Clean the brush first. Recap that paint. And let's see if we can carefully wreck this side. I mean, it's decent cardstock. But I don't want to press too hard. I don't want to press my luck. Because it sure can be disappointing after you put some time into something, only to have it not go the way you needed it to. Now let's get to this one. Just for fun, we'll add a little bit to that. We'll do a little in the wings here. So you gotta have some silver wings, a little bit of silver wings. Because how cool is silver wings? A little bit of silver in the jetpack. Okay, so let's get a quick look at this. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the overalls in blue, but I think that's a tremendous improvement. Of course, this guy's running away from this one, making its way to sting him. Again, I don't know if it's necessary for that. These are, you know, dilemmas, as some might say. I am going to put a little bit of pink in for that tongue. It's not very dark though. Let's try a bit of shaking. Try it again. Now the next thing, I can tell you though, I do understand why you do get to see videos in like super fast forward, but not my thing. That blue is pretty sharp. Especially on that green background paper. Gotta say, I don't think I like the idea of putting stripes necessarily on the B one. I think having the wings and the antenna and the stinger might be enough. Because, yeah, I'd almost rather it be like a full suit. Minions wear other clothes other than, you know, their overalls and stuff like that, but I just don't know if I feel like this one needs that. I like it. So let's see what kind of mistake this will be. I just kind of think it keeps the theme going. Let's get a little bit of paint on there. And like I said, I don't want to do a minion that seems like they're not wearing pants. Now, Gru has someone who builds most of his devices. Is that person's name Dr. Nefario? Something like that, yes. I do believe that's the name. And if you remember who, or Gru's daughter's names, let me know in the comments down below. All right. I do believe that might be it. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to move those ones out of the way. I'm going to back this out just a little bit. Put this sheet in behind, because they've been kind of distracting me for a little bit. Yeah, I do think that was the way to go. Take the time to sort of color those in just a little bit. Yeah, I think that's funny. All right then, well, I think that is going to be it then for now. I'll probably leave the rest of this alone, and yeah, I think that's it. Like I said, the basics of what this would be take the time to enjoy the beauty of everyday life or something like that, or run for your life if you're allergic to bees, something like that. Anyway, thanks for indulging me in this silly little project, and yeah, I think that's it for Minions for a little bit too, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Anyway, ciao for now.